Clerics are one of the most interesting classes in D&D, not just because they are fantastic supporters, which is integral to any D&D party. Trust me, if you're running encounters which are often considered as too hard, you do need a healer on that team to keep everyone ticking. But also because they offer some really cool roleplay incentives straight out of the box, because you have a god to worship or a concept to worship or something else. And I like them a lot, even though I have only played one. No, two. It's two. I've played two. Goblin called Groggle and a dwarf, I think. And I can't remember their name, but she was a death cleric. That was fun. Anyway, we are continuing on with a series of finding cool third-party feats for the various classes, and today we have reached the dizzying heights of C for cleric. That is right. We are getting there, sort of. Well, it's early days. Anyway, my point is, let's get to it. I've changed the video a bit, so hopefully you can actually read stuff. I was watching some of my stuff back, and even though I can see it, maybe I just need better glasses. I might just need better glasses, honestly. Don't get older, as it turns out. Pause your aging. Become an elf, if you can. That's the dream, right? Maybe? I don't know, for some people, or an ooze for other people. We've gone off track. My point is, on the subject of elves and oozes and changing what you are, we're kicking off once again with the Altered Feat, which is an origin feat from the Crooked Moon. I have gone over, I think, in most of these videos, and will continue to do so. It allows you to choose one of 5 different options. You can give yourself a swim speed, you can give yourself a natural weapon, which is a d8 plus your dex or your strength. It's up to you, which is lovely. It also does bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, so you can build it into various different feat combinations if you want to. You can get night vision or better night vision, but the one that always keeps me coming back is the fact that you can give yourself natural armor. You can give yourself an AC of 13 plus either your dex or your con. I tend to go for con when I'm taking this feat because there's just something wonderful about ditching your dexterity and becoming as beefy as you can be. This is a fantastic origin feat for clerics. Being alive is good. If you don't want to wear armor, then the ability to do this is useful. Clerics do naturally get some armor proficiencies anyway, but if you want to forego the warden, I think it's called warden, setup, then this is a great way to do that. With clerics being a wisdom-based class, they have good perception, insight, and a few other skills, which means that leaning into those skills as part of your origin feat can be a really cool thing. So I've chosen Bloodhound here from the Grim Hollow Player's Guide. This means that you get the motion sensor ability, which is that whenever a creature that is small or larger, so no tiny creatures, but anything else, moves within 10 feet of you while you do not have the unconscious condition, you immediately become aware of its presence. That's true of invisible creatures or anything else. I like that a lot. Also, you get advantage on all wisdom perception checks which rely on sound or smell. This makes you a fantastic tracker, and while there are classes better suited to this, Ranger and Druid both come to mind, I think this is a nice one to throw on your cleric if you do want to go down that path. We've also got Charm Twister from the Crooked Moon books as well. This has a lot of words, an awful lot of words, but basically it gives you the Bless spell for free, which is nice, and you get 1 free casting every long rest, which is fantastic. You also get to make little wicker charms, and you can choose an ability when another creature is carrying the charm, or while the charm is in an area the creature considers home. You can curse the charm and give the creature disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls using the chosen ability that you chose earlier. If a creature fails one of these rolls, it has to make a charisma saving throw. Destroying this charm on a success, you can only have 1 of these twisted hexes at a time. It's a cool one if you're going for a more old school cleric rather than a more modern interpretation of one. Crimson Ritualist is also from the Crooked Moon. This is the Sangromancy one. If you're going for a, a goth edgy cleric, then this is a good way to go. It gives you the Bloodbolt cantrip, which gives you some temp health every time you cast it, which is nice. It also lets you plop some of your own blood into a vial at the end of a long rest, or actually just, yeah, it is at the end of a long rest. It just takes a minute. You roll some hit point dice, put them into the vial, and then a creature can use those to heal later. That can include you, so it's a fun way of keeping yourself up or adding to your healing if you want to. Cult Initiate is a good one again if you're going for a slightly off the standard walked path of the cleric, then this is a good chance to do so. This one gives you 2 cantrips from the Warlock spell list, one of which is probably going to be Eldritch Blast. It also gives you a spell from the Warlock spell list as well, and you can change these whenever you level up. The spell from the Warlock spell list you can cast once for free, as you can with the other Magic Initiative feats as well. It's a good one. Deathbound is a little niche, but it's a good one from the Grim Hollow Player's Guide. It gives you advantage on your final saving throw if you've got 2 death saving throw failures, which is great, and it also allows you to roll your hit point dice twice when you're recovering during a short rest and take the higher roll, which is solid. I don't think this is the best of the bunch, But I think the advantage on death saving throws can be really, really useful, especially if you need that for role-playing reasons or because you're balancing out weaknesses otherwhere in your build. In other places in your build? Words are hard. 2 more origin feats left. A bunch of origin feats this time. Got another Crooked Moon one. This is the Ghostlight Medium. When you damage a creature with the incorporeal movement trait, you can ignore the creature's damage resistances, if any. This is good in a spirit-heavy campaign. Also fits quite well, I think, with the Raven Queen as a god that you might be worshipping in that whole thing. I like it a lot from a flavour standpoint. You can also, as a bonus action, sense any undead within 60 feet of you, or any creatures in the ethereal plane that overlaps that area. You learn the distance and direction to any creatures you detect, or an ethereal creature's equivalent position on your plane. You can do this only once per short or long rest. Again, this is a hyper niche one, but it fits clerics quite well, I think. Finally, and I think this might be one of the strongest ones, this is Gravekeeper. This gives you Divine Channel, which allows you to gain 1 use of the Channel Divinity feature from the Cleric class, which you can create the turn undead effect with it. If you already have it, you can add this use to the feature from your class of choice. So you just get an extra use of Channel Divinity, basically. Standard spell save DC, which is absolutely amazing. For clerics and for paladins, obviously, this gives you an extra use of a very limited resource. You also get the Last Rites ability. You can act a 10-minute ritual to prepare the corpse of a medium or smaller creature, expending at least 10 gold worth of incense oils, linen wraps, or similar trappings. The prepared corpse cannot become an undead. This is a good one if you're fighting a lich who might try to resurrect your allies or enemies and you don't want them to. Moving on to the general feats now, we've got Brutal Grip. I believe I talked about this in the Barbarian one. This lets you increase your strength score by 1, which is nice if you're going for a more melee-focused build than you might be otherwise. It also allows you to wield a versatile weapon as though it was a light weapon, which can be really, really fun for dual-wielding shenanigans, but you're probably not doing that as a cleric. Using a greatsword as a cleric, though, with a shield still in hand, is sick, let's be honest. Lightning Caster is one I'm probably going to bring up with all of the spellcasters. This allows you to increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, and it allows you, if you cast a cantrip with a casting type of an action that targets a single creature, you can target another creature within the cantrip's range using your bonus action. Doubling up on your cantrips gets increasingly more powerful the longer the game goes on, especially if you're playing in one with a more limited rest structure. You also get the ability to cast a spell as a reaction without expending a spell slot once per long rest, which is fantastic if you're playing anything. Any spellcaster can make use of that. A free spell slot of shield or counterspell or spiny shield or accelerate decelerate is fantastic. So it's good stuff. Sangromancy Initiate is from Grim Hollow. I haven't been saying what all of these are from, but hopefully you can read it this time. This gives you a Sangromancy spell from any spell list of a level which you have the spell slots. You always have the spell prepared. You can cast it once without using a spell slot, and you regain the ability to recast it on a long rest, or you can use your other spells. You also get 2d12s you can use in place of your hit point dice when casting Sangromancy spells. These come back on a long rest too. This one doesn't have a stat bonus equipped with it, and I think it should. I don't know if that's an oversight or what. I always homebrew this as you're allowed to increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, although maybe also con I would consider, just because to keep up with other general feats, it kind of needs to have that. I don't think it's doing enough otherwise, as much as it is pretty cool. And our final choice is Swift Witchcraft. This is from the Crooked Moon. This allows you to increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1, and once per long rest, you can use an action to cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 minute. I cannot think of any spells off the top of my head because my head is so full of stuff all the time. I just don't have access to this particular bit of information. I have no doubts that this is something that is breakable pretty comfortably in D&D, especially if you're using third-party spells, because it means you've got access to more stuff. This is just a cool spell for spellcasters in general, and I like it a lot. But that is it for today's reading of stuff I think you should let players use in your games. Cool books I think you should pick up. It's just Grim Hollow and Crooked Moon like 99% of the time, although the Brutal Grip one was from Valdaspira Secrets, which is, I know it's memey, but I cannot overstate how cool some of the build concepts you can get from that player pack and from the Gunslinger class as well. Well worth it, in my opinion. That is it for me today, though. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I should really start putting the like and subscribe earlier in the videos, but if we're all being honest, I'm not going to. So here we are. I know at the time of recording this, although that'll be in the past, those of you watching this, that D&D Beyond is getting a big maintenance on Tuesday. I really hope that means we're getting some good third-party books so that I can sink my teeth into them, because good golly, I miss third-party stuff. Give me more stuff. More stuff. It doesn't have to be horror themed. As much as I adore Grim Hollow and Crooked Moon, they are thematically overlapping. They are in the Venn diagram of the same general vibe. Anyway, I hope that you're doing well and that you continue to do well and have a good old time of things, and that your week goes well and that your 2026 goes well. All that good stuff. Do take care. I will see you next time. Goodbye.